Now, once you've figured out which of these niches matches up with everything that I said, then you can move on to actually figuring out which one you're actually going to publish in. And how do you do that? Well, again, there's some very specific things that you want to look at. You might have 2 or 3 niches where you're like, oh, this looks like a good niche. I might want to publish in here, but I don't know which one to pick. That's okay. I've been in the same position before. I'm going to show you exact things that you can look at so you can basically predict your future to see which one of these 2 to 3 niches is going to bring you the most amount of money. And what are these things to look at? First of all, very easy one, reviews. Look at your competitors' reviews. Now, it doesn't really matter if some of them have hundreds of reviews or thousands of reviews. This is what actually matters. Is there a book selling with low reviews? Because if there is a book with a good ABSR number, a low ABSR number, is making 5 or 10 sales a day. And if you want to see how to figure out the sales from an ABSR number, I'm going to show you a calculator down below. I'm going to make sure to leave a link. You can just go on that calculator, write down the ABSR number, write down if it's a paperback, write down the marketplace, and it will give you a rough estimation of how many books they're selling a day. So if you can find even one book out of the 8 or 10 books or 5 books that are your competitors, if one book has like 15 reviews and has a good ABSR number or is selling, what does that tell you? That proves to you that you can sell as well, and you don't need reviews to sell. The reviews are not going to hold you back from selling, because this guy's already proved that people are willing to buy low review books in that niche. One of the niches I published in, the biggest guy, the authority figure or whatever you want to call it, the guy that was getting the most amount of sales had 60 reviews. Now guess what? Is it easy for me to compete in this niche? Very easy, because I'm a legend and I know how to make books. And it's going to be super easy for me to compete, because I can just go and get 30 reviews a month, and within 2 months I already beat this guy and I'm number 1. I'm the most reviewed book. But even if the top guy has 150 reviews, the second guy has 80 reviews, and the third guy has 7 reviews. If this guy with 7 reviews is selling 5 copies a day, that means if you have 10 reviews, the reviews are not going to hold you back from making sales. But if you go in a niche and the guy has 1,000 reviews, second guy has 150, the other guy has 80, and the other guy has 5. If this guy is selling, this guy's selling, this guy's not selling, and this guy's not selling, then reviews might be one of the things holding you back. So if you want to see if reviews are going to be one of the things holding you back from success, try and find if there's a book selling, if one of your competitors that are selling has a low amount of reviews. What's the low amount of reviews? That depends on you. Anything from 1 to 10 is super low. Anything from 50 and below is also low. Anything above 50 is doable, but it might take you an extra month or 2 to gather those extra reviews. If one of them have 100 reviews and only the ones with 100 reviews are selling, then you know that you're going to have to get 100 reviews to get the same amount of sales as them to even compete. Now, 100 reviews is not very hard. I have a section of reviews on how to actually get some reviews, but it might take you 3 months to get 100 reviews. So if you're willing to wait an extra 3 months to compete in that niche, great. But if you want money as fast as possible straight away, try and see if there's a high selling competitor in that niche with low reviews. It can be 7, it can be 10, it can be 20, it can be 50. 50 is even amazing. There's a guy with 50 reviews selling in your niche. That's a good niche to publish in, because you can do it in a month. You can get 50 reviews in a month easily. And I'll show you exactly how as well. So reviews is one of the things that you need to look at. What's the second thing you need to look at? Second thing you need to look at is the page number of your competitors. Go and see the list. I'm guessing you copied the ASIN, or you have a list of your 5 to 10 competitors that are selling in the niche that you potentially want to publish in. Go and look at how many pages are their books. It might be 100 pages, some guy might have 150, or it might even be 200. Why is this important? Because your profit margin is based on printing costs. So the more pages that your book needs to have to compete, if someone's selling at 200 pages, they all sell books with 200 pages, and you going with a book with 100 pages, it's going to be very hard for you to compete. Because the customer is going to be like, well, why would I get 100 pages when I can get 200 pages? Even if the information is better, bigger books automatically just seem more valuable anyway. So you're going to have to match the page number with your competitors, or have even more pages of them to seem more valuable. So if all the books have 200 pages, you know that you're going to have to pay extra printing costs later on to get your book to 200 pages. So it's going to eat from your profit margin. So look at the page numbers. I'm going to show you later on how to figure out exactly the profit that you're going to make. So page numbers is the second thing. What's the third thing? The third thing is see if your competitors have images or illustrations. Why is this important? Because if they have images and illustrations, you need to figure out, am I going to have to pay for a photographer? Am I going to have to buy stock images? Some of you guys might want to use AI to make some images. Some of you guys might want to just get some free images from FreePic or from Shutterstock or from royalty-free websites. You need to figure out if there's images, how are you going to find those images to put in your book? You might have to pay for them. You might have to pay for someone to find them for you, or you might have to pay for someone to make them for you, or you might have to pay to buy the license for the image, or you might just find a free version. That's okay. If you need 5 images in your book and you can find them for free on royalty-free websites, perfect. If there's illustrations, then it's the same thing. Are you going to pay for an illustrator? If you are, how many illustrations do you need? How much is it going to cost? You need to take all of these into account, because if you're doing a children's book, like we said, an animal encyclopedia, you have to find pictures of animals. Children are not going to read books with no pictures. It's boring to them. So how are you going to find the animal pictures? You're not going to pay a photographer to go shoot some photos of animals, but you might have to pay for the images of the animals. What's another thing you need to look at? What about the printing of the book? Is it colored? Has it got a colored interior, or is it black and white? This plays a very, very big role, because the same book in black and white might cost you $2.15 to print, but the exact same book in colored might cost you $5 to print. With that extra $2.85, that's your profit. So by you making a colored book, you're eating $2.85 from your profit. So you need to look at your competitors and see, do they have colored interiors or do they have black and white interiors? All of this is to figure out which one is going to give you the highest profit margin and which one's going to be the most affordable for you to make, or the easiest one for you to make, or the most efficient one for you to make. Now there's one final thing you need to look at, and this is extremely important, and this is the marketplace price. What is the average price of the book? If it's under $9.99, forget about it, because this is not going to give you a $5 profit, and you need at least a $5 profit. If it's $10.99 the average, you can get close to $5. $10.99 is fine. For some books, it might be $16.99. For other books, it might be $22.99. You need to go in and see, take all your competitors and see the average price. So if you have 5 competitors and this guy is $10.99, $11.99, $12.99, $10.99, and $11.99, you know that your book is going to be priced anywhere from $10.99 to $12.99. And you're going to test it out later on and see which one gives you the most amount of sales. But you need to look at the marketplace price before you go in and publish the book, so you can make sure there's enough profit for you left. Now, once you do all of this, you can actually calculate exactly how much money you're going to make. And if you can calculate exactly how much money you're going to make, then you can figure out what the future looks like for your book. So let's say you found a niche, there isn't an authority figure, or the authority figure doesn't have many reviews, so you can make a better book than them, and you can destroy them and beat them and get their position, and you can be the authority figure. So my personal preference when publishing books, I like to publish books with around 120 to 150 pages. That's my sweet spot. Now, you have to look at the average marketplace page, but if most of the books are 120 to 150, that's a very good niche. I love publishing books up to 150 pages. The second thing, I like to publish books where it's just text, because then I don't have to pay for images, I don't have to bother finding images, I don't have to pay for illustrators. But sometimes, in order for me to make a book that's slightly different from my competitors, I might publish in a niche where everyone has black and white textbooks only. But I might pay an illustrator to do some illustrations. So I can add illustrations to the book, so then people can see, oh, this guy has illustrations and this guy doesn't. I'm going to go for the illustrations because it just looks nicer. And finally, I usually just publish black and white books because the profit margin on these is so much higher than the colored ones. Now with colored, you have 2 printing ones. You have standard and you have premium, but we're going to get into that later. Premium is extremely expensive, but it's worth it if the marketplace price is super high. So one of my books that made me 10K a month, it was actually premium colored. It was 100 pages, but the average market price was $22.99. So I was still making around $5 to $7 profit, I think. But the only reason I was making profit with a premium colored interior is because the price matched my profit margin. All you care about is getting a $5 profit margin or above. So usually every book I publish right now is 120 to 150 pages with no illustrations, and it's black and white. And the average price, most of these books, is around $12.99. I have a book right now at $12.99. Black and white, no illustrations inside, 130 pages, and it has around 20 reviews, and it's making me a bunch of money. Well, I showed you in other videos. Now there's one final thing I want to talk about, which is publishing in this specific niche. Are you ready for it? You want to always publish in an evergreen niche. What does that mean? What does evergreen mean? It means you're making sales every month. A lot of people like to publish in seasonal niches, but guess what? There's so many problems with seasonal niches, because let's say you publish an Easter book. It's a book for Easter. That's a seasonal niche. It means it only sells during the Easter time. Evergreen means it sells all year round. When you first publish your book, first of all, you have to publish it during Easter time because that's when you get sales. If you publish your book and you don't get sales when you publish it, Amazon's going to say, oh, this book is terrible. I'm not going to promote it. And you lose your ranking. So you have to publish it Easter time. But if you publish your book Easter time, you're brand new. Why would anyone buy your book? You haven't built reviews. You haven't built anything. So you have to use the first year to build your ranking and then use the second year to maybe pull out profit. But for like 8 to 9 months, this book is not making you money. It's doing nothing. But evergreen niches, you can build your book every month. Every single month it's bringing you in money. Every single month you're building rank. Every single month you're getting reviews. So evergreen niches, I never publish seasonal niches, only evergreen niches. If you want to publish seasonal niches, go for it. I can't stop you from doing that. But I find more success doing evergreen niches. Okay, so just a quick recap before we go into the next section. You found, let's say, 100 different sub-niches. Some sub-niches with your target audience, and you have 100 different ones. You found them from categories and from carousels. Out of these 100, you went in and you saw which one has low supply and high demand. Now, this is usually the hardest thing for people, but now you know exactly what you're looking for. You're not looking at search results, you're not looking at random things, you're not looking at page 5, you're looking at only your competitors that are selling. And you want around 2 to 8 competitors. If it's 10, that's still fine. The extra 2 competitors are not going to destroy your business. So let me just do 2 to 10, just in case you guys get confused. 2 to 10. And obviously high, that means these guys are actually selling. I would say around 5 copies or more. 1 or 2 of these competitors are allowed to sell 1 or 2 copies a day. As long as you have some competitors that are selling 5 or 10 or 20 a day or more. Now, out of these 100, the niches that fit this criteria might only be 10 niches. So out of those 10 niches, you need to go and validate and see which one of these don't have authority figures, and are there any niches with books that are selling with low reviews. This way, you can figure out if you can be the authority figure, and if you can be the authority figure without many reviews, without the reviews holding you back. So out of these 10, you might have 2 niches that you can potentially publish in. Now, once you find these 2 niches, the final thing you're looking at is how much profit margin are you making? And you can find the profit by looking at what we just talked about now. Marketplace price, if it's a colored interior, if it's black and white interior, how many pages is it? Are you gonna have to pay for an illustrator? All of the above. So out of these 2, you're gonna select one. And now you found your profitable niche that you're gonna publish in. But guess what? You don't even have a book here. You just know basically what book you're gonna publish in. So what is your goal now? You found your niche. What is your goal? Your only goal right now is to actually make your book. And how do you do that? Well, I'm going to show you right now how to make the outline. I'm going to show you how to make an amazing outline as well. So let's get into that.